Okay, well, we can start and just talk about everything like during.
Sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, so first off, could you introduce yourself?
I am Ms. Eden, and I am a professional dominatrix and switch, and I reside in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And I currently work at a dungeon called the Sugar Shack.
Shitter Shack. Okay.
Sugar,
Sugar. Okay.
yeah, shitter, no, we don't. Well, I don't. I don't go there. And I'm opening my own place in July called Substance Fetish Facility.
Okay, cool. And by switch, you mean that
I
you.
mean that sometimes I sub.
Okay.
It isn't really common for me to do that, but once in a while, if there's good chemistry with a client who has dominant tendencies, if I feel comfortable and if I'm in the mood, then I also can take a submissive position.
Okay. So you're a professional dominatrix. Is that the term?
Basically, um, that's about 90% of what my work consists of. But technically, like in my lifestyle, I'm a switch, meaning sometimes I'm in the mood to be dominant, and sometimes I'm more in a submissive
Okay. And like it's weird to me. I don't know. I'm not in the BDSM scene. This is like it's. Does it involve sex in the role play or whatever it is, or
Well,
not?
it's hyper sensual, and I mean, the end is to obtain release, but um, a lot of DOMs, including myself, don't typically involve intercourse as part of a session. Um, it's not it's not that there's anything like I have zero moral issues with people who, go all the way,
Yeah.
escorts or fetish escorts or just other DOMs who feel like doing it. Um, it's just more, you meet a lot of people. Oh, that's my cat. That's Fishhook. Say hi to Israel and the world, Fishhook. Say hi to Twitter. um, yeah, it's just not for me. I'm a little bit of a germphobe in that regard,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. And what would a day look like in your at your job?
Um, well, I wake up in my home and I go through my social media things. I tweet for a while. I respond to emails, Facebook, um, and then I do any callbacks I need to do and confirm and book my space. Well, book the space if I need to do an appointment that day or
Okay.
more. And then I will usually hop in a cab and go to the dungeon, where often the woman who runs the Sugar Shack, she is Mistress Brown Sugar,
Okay.
um, we'll chat and we'll, like, gossip about our day or, like, exclaim over some new item of clothing or, like, equipment that she got.
Yeah.
There's always that. And there's parties and stuff. So we'll talk about what happened at the last, like, fetish party. I don't really go to fetish parties
Okay.
because they're always at the same time as some show that I want to go to.
Okay. Yeah.
But Sugar goes to parties and hosts a lot of parties at her space. So there's always that.
Cool. And how many clients do you have per day, like an average?
That really varies
Okay.
depending on the season. Like in January, it gets very quiet.
Okay.
And in the summer, sometimes I'll see, five people a day. Um, but when I first started, it was a lot busier. There was only maybe two or three dungeons in all of Montreal,
Hmm.
and now
Okay.
they're popping up all over the place. They're like Tim Hortons or something. Because I think it's a lot of women are curious about it and see it as easy money. So a lot of them don't really hang out for long. You know,
Yeah.
they kind of go taste it, and it's not really something they want to pursue as a career. So they just kind of move on, or they do escort work because it's
It's
like
more
more
simple.
profitable.
It's more
It's more
simple.
simple apparently, and it's a lot more profitable in Montreal.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah, if you give full service, you make more per hour, and we
Yeah.
don't. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know.
Okay. And
Mhm.
do you dominate girls too, or is it men only?
In my personal life, I do, but I don't really get female clients. I had a really awesome couple once
Hmm.
who were like engaged to be married, and um, the guy really wanted to explore that, and so I gave her kind of a, you know, because if you start messing around with all these props and things, like you should see some of our equipment. It is whips and chains.
Yeah,
Okay,
I looked on the website, yeah.
right? So you
Yeah.
see that stuff, and it's really intimidating to someone who's never really messed around with it before.
Yeah.
So someone might still have those tendencies and just feel really weird doing it for the first time. So it was really fun, kind of giving her a little tutorial
101,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, it was great. They were super in love, and it was cool. I'd like to have more sessions like that. But
Okay.
women, no, I never get individual women who
Oh.
want to pay for a service being dominated. Women don't pay for that stuff. If a woman wants to be dominated, she can walk into a bar and be like, "You
Yeah, I don't know.
thank me,"
Yeah.
and there's a lineup.
Yeah.
Women don't pay for that stuff.
And how'd you begin like in this BDSM world? Where did it all start for you?
That goes back too far for me to even point a finger to.
Okay.
I don't think I even knew what sex was the first time I thought about kinky things. But professionally, I've been a pro now for 6 years in Montreal,
Okay.
and it's been pretty positive. Like it's my career.
Okay. So it sounds like a very fulfilling career, but it also sounds very like risk taking. You know, you don't know. Well, you do know. I don't know. Like a client could just go berserk if something happens. I don't know.
I've dealt with dicks before,
Okay.
but no one's ever assaulted me or flipped out. Also, the space where I work, I'm never the only person there. It's
Yeah.
never just me, client. Like, my coworker resides downstairs,
Oh, okay.
and she's a black belt in judo, and she's 5'11".
Oh
So
wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay, if somebody really wanted to, I suppose
Yeah.
they could go ballistic and pull out a gun and blow
Yeah.
me away. But most people who do stuff like that want to go somewhere where they can get a lot of people at once.
Yeah, I guess so.
So unless somebody
Yeah.
had a personal vendetta with
Yeah.
me, in
But
which
you
case
guys
I
are
would.
Canadians, you're not Americans. There's no
That's
gun
okay.
spraying and shit like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just read something on Twitter. This one femdom talked about how she worked at this facility and two doms were murdered within a couple of months,
Wow.
and that's alien to me. You know, like Canada's pretty safe
Yeah.
in most parts are pretty safe, and most guys who want to like assault women or harm women would find someone I think who's not going to be missed as much as like a pro dom.
Yeah.
They would find like an addict who was under duress and like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know
So likelihood of some woman getting sexually harassed, it would be higher at any other job probably.
no, I mean a lot of my clients try and push their luck,
Okay.
and nobody violates, but
Yeah.
they beg, they plead, they want more. It's they've got boners.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But in terms of safety, I feel very, very safe.
okay.
Mhm.
And about music and everything, so you somehow popped up on my Twitter, so I don't
Oh
know.
yeah. Okay.
Um, when did you begin like listening to heavy or metal or whatever you want to call it?
Um, I guess it was in the early '90s, but it wasn't like the same stuff I'm really into now.
Like all
You
of
know,
us, like all of us.
right, of
Yeah.
course, you know. And I mean, I still like a lot of those bands like SOD and like, just like thrashy kind of stuff that I got into when I was like 13, 14. But later I got into more like experimental metal and like sludge and doom,
Oh,
um,
cool.
you know, and black metal to a degree, but I find some of it so silly, you know.
That's the fun part.
Well, if it's fun, but if it's,
Yeah.
National Socialist
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah, that's not.
I'm all about, I like science. So things like racism and fascism, they don't, I can't,
Yeah.
it's just too.
So no Burzum for you.
Oh, I love Burzum, but I wouldn't pay money to see him play live.
Okay, okay. Yeah. And throughout like I don't know, how old are you?
I'm in my early 30s.
Early 30s. Okay.
Mhm.
Um did you grow up in Montreal?
No, I grew up east of Montreal in Nova Scotia,
Okay.
and in a really small town actually called Sydney.
Hmm.
And yeah,
And
it's pretty conservative.
okay. So like were there a lot of metalheads in your community or not really?
Yeah, but they were older. I sort of came of age during like the grunge years. And so there was always metal and everyone listened to Slayer and stuff. But like it was Nirvana, Pearl Jam time. And so around that time I got more into punk.
Okay.
We didn't have really good record stores there and there was no internet that you could just go
Yeah.
on, Encyclopedia Metallum and be like, oh, I like this, so I'm gonna listen to this too. You had to like know somebody and they made you a mixtape
Yeah.
and then like, oh shit, dude, can you like dub me that whole thing? And then they would, and then if you were lucky, it didn't suck.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm too young for that. I'm 23, but
Yeah,
yeah, I started metal when I was like 9, I think. So
yeah,
CDs for me, that's the oldest medium.
I fucking hate those things.
Why do you prefer vinyl and tapes?
Yeah, well, vinyl especially, or MP3s. I don't really like objects unless they're very attractive. So, records
Yeah.
are great, or MP3s. I'll
Okay.
buy a CD if that's all a band has on their merch table and I want to support them. And I'll buy a cassette. It's a durable sort of medium for that. But um, I don't have a tape player right now, so I've just got like
Yeah.
these like tapes that are just taking up space. And
Yeah.
jewel cases fall apart once in a while.
Yeah, yeah. Just like me, like I got those stacked up too.
Mm-hmm.
And what concerts were memorable for you? Like not talking recently, talking about like first concerts, that kind of stuff.
First concerts. Um, well, my very first concert ever was the Beach Boys with my stepmother.
It's a good concert.
It kind of wasn't. It kind of sucked. Like,
Okay.
yeah, Brian Wilson wasn't touring with them then.
Oh.
Like, I don't know if it was John Stamos or somebody, but it was just in this big, like, horse race track.
Oh, okay.
And it was still cool because I was like, 10 or something. But yeah, the fun started when obviously when I started picking out my own concerts to go to.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember. I mean, on the East Coast, there wasn't a lot. A lot of bands don't tour there unless they're like really enormous or just local.
Yeah.
Um, and Sydney was really dry, but there were punk bands, and
Okay.
at like community centers and a
Yeah.
few bars would host bands like that, but not many.
Okay.
And but in Montreal, I've seen so many fucking bands. Swans. I mean, I've seen Swans twice now,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw them too.
and
Yeah.
The first time I saw them, like I think I was tearing up. Like that was incredible.
Yeah. Was it recently or when was this?
Uh, the last time was in the fall, I believe, and the time before that was, I guess, the prior year or maybe
Yeah, yeah,
two.
yeah. They toured that year. They came to Israel too.
Yeah, yeah, they do. They do it right when they do it. There have been some other really incredible shows. I just saw Absu and Shete a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Shete, they're from Quebec City.
Okay, I'm not
They're
familiar with them.
You should check out like Quebecois black metal. There's some
Okay.
really awesome Quebecois bands. Do you know Akitsa?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Akitsa's really good.
Yeah.
And a friend.
That's a one man metal thing, right? That's like
Yeah,
she I don't know. They don't play live, I'm not sure.
he did just play live.
Oh, really? Okay.
Played at Chaos, Texas.
Oh, okay.
But he had to start a band, so that's why
Yeah.
he doesn't play live around here very often because he makes all of the music himself. But then he needs like musicians.
Yeah.
But who else is really awesome? Wow, I'm blanking out now. The first time I saw Harvey Milk was really good.
Oh, wow.
Second time, kind of, the sound was really terrible at the venue. It was sad. It wasn't very great. Skinny Puppy was fucking amazing.
Wow, you've seen like the legends.
Montreal gets good bands. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think we're going to get Godflesh. I haven't seen anything. Like, they've announced the US dates.
Oh,
But I
they
would,
have. Yeah. I
yeah,
just
I've
saw
been
them at
really.
Roadburn. Yeah.
Oh,
No.
really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How was it?
Roadburn. It's like when I interviewed Mike from Yob.
Okay.
He told me that when you die, you go to Roadburn. So that basically,
Wow.
yeah,
That's
basically describes it. Yeah. It's quite an experience over there. It's just
sweet.
yeah, we're just waiting for the next one. That's how it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
We don't get good metal festivals, which is weird. Well, we get good metal festivals that are like really underground bands,
Okay.
like the black metal scene. Um, but we don't get something like Maryland Death Fest. We don't get
Yeah, yeah.
Roadburn,
Yeah, yeah.
and we'll never get I Hate God because I don't think they're allowed to leave the country.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of bands have those problems with the border.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, we get shit like a Heavy Montreal.
Okay.
It's the fucking worst. I wanted to go one year to see Alice Cooper,
Hmm.
but I don't want to see Alice Cooper at a festival. I want to see Alice Cooper headlining for
Yeah.
somebody else, in a mid-sized venue, not in this like enormous place with all these douchebags.
Yeah, of
There's
course.
not t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I get you. That's Roadburn. Like you need to buy a ticket for Roadburn. That's how it is.
Yeah, but at Roadburn there'd be enough bands playing that it would be worth it to attend a festival like that.
Oh yeah, 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 for sure.
But
Everybody's
something
like,
like heavy is just like
yeah.
it's like mall music.
Yeah.
South Park would make fun of it or something.
Yeah. Like I think that after like, I've been to Wacken in Germany and Hellfest and all those festivals, and like you always go to those festivals to see like Swans, Neurosis. You go to see those bands. You don't see the shit that's like headlining. And then Roadburn
Right.
takes all those bands and makes a festival out of them. It's pretty fucking amazing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
incredible. And Death Fest tends to have
Yeah,
like
Death Fest too. Yeah, but it's a
I
much
miss it.
more
I miss it every year. I miss it every fucking year. Last year was the year before last or last year that Agalog played. And
yeah,
the
Agalok they play.
drummer
Yeah.
the drummer's a friend and he offered to
Yeah,
guest
Aesop's
with
a good
me.
friend of mine too. Yeah.
He's an awesome dude. Hi Aesop. We're talking about you.
Yeah.
Um anyways, yeah, I wanted to go down, but by the time I remembered it was completely sold out and you know,
Yeah.
passport
It's like
issues
that.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't have a passport.
Oh
So,
yeah.
no.
Okay. Yeah.
The last time I went to the US, you didn't need a passport.
Oh okay.
it's been a while.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not missing
Friends
out, you know, except for Maryland,
well,
but
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I have friends who go every year, so it would be pretty fun.
Yeah,
But
I met some Canadians that they go like to all the festivals every year. I don't know how they do it really.
well, they drive
Yeah, they drive and yeah, it's
and
pretty
work
crazy.
hard.
Yeah, and work hard all year for it. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have jobs where you're like, you know, your hourly wage is really fucking high, but if you don't go, then that's, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah, yeah. That's it. Yeah, you're fired. Yeah.
my job is such that it doesn't really make sense to like take days off, you know?
Okay. You work
Because
what days do you work all days or
it depends. I mean, if
depend?
a really sweet regular wants to come in on a Sunday afternoon, I'll make an exception. But for new people, Sunday is my day off.
Okay.
I like to go out on Saturday,
Yeah,
get
you go to
wasted with
church on
chills.
Sunday, obviously. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
obviously, and then I bake bread for my family.
Yeah. Okay. And are any of your clients like metalheads into doom, all that kind of stuff, or not really?
Clients? No, not that I've noticed. I mean, we don't really, a lot of them don't really tell me a lot of personal information,
Okay.
like not even their real first names, you know?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, well, they're afraid.
That's your job not to tell your first name. I
Well, right,
you have
but
an alias, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
this is my name,
Oh,
Ms.
okay.
Eden. Switch. That's on my birth certificate.
Oh, okay.
Kidding.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, but they're concerned about anonymity.
Okay.
Like some of them are married, or some of them have like high profile jobs.
Yeah.
That
Politicians, I don't know. You get
well,
everything. Yeah.
we got everybody, and people really want privacy, and I respect that. I don't pry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you know Kink in San Francisco, that company?
Of
Well,
course, yeah.
yeah, I don't know, like I come from the like obviously the music scene, but I'm also pretty active in the adult entertainment and like
Okay.
a couple of years ago I found out about Kink and it's like wait, she's fucking him and it was like it kind of changed my world, kind of like heavy
Yeah.
music did, you know?
Right.
And I've been watching their scenes and there's this one scene that there was like this public they call it public
Yeah. Public
disgrace.
discourse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I noticed that like one dude had a Sun shirt, the other guy had a Dark Throne shirt, and another guy had a Mayhem shirt. So it like got me wondering if there's like, you
Yes.
know,
Yes, there is.
a connection and if you feel
Yeah.
it too. Yeah.
Yes, there definitely. In my experience, yes. If he's got
Okay.
a gauntlet, he's probably got a sadistic streak. Unless, he doesn't. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's I don't know if it's just more acceptable. Like indie rock guys don't fuck like that. Or it doesn't seem to be a thing. And I don't know if it's like kind of a socioeconomic or like cultural thing where like their friends are a little bit more like politically correct or something.
Yeah.
But black metal's not politically correct,
Yeah.
and in a way that sort of, I guess, gives license for people to explore sort of socially unacceptable ideas that um, mainstream society would consider misogynist or violent or
Yeah.
like bad or twisted.
Yeah.
Because if you embrace things that are dark and twisted um, as like part of your image or part of your sort of identifier in your scene, then that extends to more than just music sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I mean, it tends to be like bipolar in most like when I talk about BDSM and metal, it's either the guy's like a total like I don't know, like he's a very homophobic guy and like Manowar is not gay for him, but like a strap on is, you know?
um,
Or it's
Yeah,
like the totally like weird dude that like listens to like dark ambient and like, you know, is not connected to this world even. So,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. My experience with metalheads is like you can't generalize too much. Um, because it's such a huge scene. Even the
Yeah.
subgenres
Yeah, of course.
are like comprised of so many different types of people.
Yeah.
And
But it could be a gateway. That's what I think. It's a gateway to opening your mind basically.
possibly, yeah. I don't know about if I'd say opening your mind, but I'd definitely say experimentation.
Yeah.
I've met a lot of like kinky black metal people who were sort of like a little bit like missing a couple of other boats, you know.
Yeah.
For instance, I was at this show one night, and it was a friend of mine who plays in a band called Putaman Insula, and
Okay.
they're kind of like crust black metal, like black crust. I'm not gonna say blackened crust. I hate
Okay.
that fucking term. It sounds like burnt pizza.
Yeah.
Burnt pizza. Anyway, so his set was pretty black metal for the most part, but there were like these, you know, sort of really crust parts to the songs, and this like impromptu sort of mosh pit broke out, and I was standing in the front, and this fucking dork just like squished me between a speaker and the stage,
Hmm.
and I was fucking bleeding.
Shit.
I was bleeding, and I stood up and just started punching the shit out of him. And then I just kind of huffed out to have a cigarette and like chill out, you know.
Yeah.
And this girl approached me, and she's wearing like her corset and her like I don't know, like her Renaissance fair black
Yeah.
metal empress
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
She's like, I'm really glad you punched that guy. And we ended up having this conversation about how women are made to feel really marginalized in like almost all aggressive music scenes. And as soon as the boys want to dance and like let some aggression out, we're all supposed to just fucking divide like the Red Sea and stand in the back.
Yeah.
And it really fucking pisses me off because I paid the same ticket price as everyone else at the show. But instead of being able to like watch the band, I have to be like
Yeah.
watching my back, you know, or get really fucking hurt.
Yeah.
And it made me angry because I cut my face and it was really swollen. And I
Oh.
had a photo shoot
Oh.
with a really busy photographer in a few days. And I thought, shit, if this doesn't heal, like I've just like
Yeah.
wasted a bunch of time. Um, anyway, so we're having this discussion, and I'm like, oh, this girl totally surprised me. You know, she's like, you know, she's like this LARPer or whatever, and we're having this like feminist discussion about women in the scene and how. And I said something like, yeah, you know, the scene needs to evolve. Everything evolves. And she was like, except the Jews.
What? Except for the Jews? Yeah.
Except for the Jews. And I was like,
It's always the
okay.
Jews.
And so I sort of just was like, you know, I made sort of a face to say that's not cool.
Yeah.
And I just kind of walked away, and I started telling a friend of mine about it because it was like something out of like a hate comic, you know,
Yeah.
like it was totally like
Yeah, yeah.
it just sort of shocked me. I'm not used to people being openly racist around me, and I don't know how to handle that. Like, so yeah, black metal people, mixed bag, but I've
Yeah.
definitely met some sketchy ones.
Okay. Huh. There's actually this group in Israel called they're called in Hebrew you say liter shpich.
Okay,
Liter, it's a liter,
okay,
and shpich is cum, so it's a liter of cum,
okay.
and it's like a noise dub thing. Like you can, have you heard of Author and Punisher?
I don't think so.
It's this guy. He has these machines, and like he creates. It's basically like a danceable sun kind of thing.
Okay.
It's pretty cool, and they have a shirt, and on the back it says, "Haven't the Jewish people suffered enough?" and it's from an Israeli sitcom. Like they say that, so it's pretty ironic.
Okay.
Yeah, I wear it around. It's pretty funny.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Okay, so mixed stories about black metal people. Yeah, I get stuff like this guy. He sent me his tapes. Yeah, it's his tape. No, a 7 inch. It was a 7 inch, and he wrote me after. Oh, I'm sorry. Yours didn't have that much blood on it. And I'm like, shit, that was blood. I thought that was like red vinyl. I don't know, like brown
Oh, it was
vinyl.
on the 7 inch?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like not on the sleeve? He bled on the record?
He bled like on the all over. I got like a bloody package
Whoa, wow,
from.
that's cult.
Yeah, that is pretty cult. Yeah. He wanted his name to be anonymous. So I'm not gonna mention his name, obviously. And I read on your website that one of your like a fetish that you, I don't know, handle with your clients is like a role play of like human sacrifice, like occult
Mm,
stuff.
yeah.
It sounds like an Electric Wizard song. Like, could you could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of bondage involved in, well, in domination as a general rule. It's kind of a classic fetish. And I sort of decided, well, people seem to like find me sort of witchy, and I am into like metal and goth and that sort of stuff. So um, basically, I decided to incorporate that into an available service, which would just be, objectifying somebody in that I was going to enact them being sacrificed to me,
Okay.
or like, yeah,
Yeah. Like with candles and all that.
candles and a cloak,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
I'm not going to
And
get
then
into too much
yeah.
detail, but
Sounds like a Sun concert up until now, but
it pretty much,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Except then, I put something up their butt and spit in their mouth.
Yeah.
And, but everyone walks away.
Yeah.
It's play. It's all play. It's fantasy.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
I'm an atheist. I'm not actually like conjuring any
Yeah.
goddess or succubi or anything.
Yeah. You don't have any like scripture near you.
No, I might like you know borrow my roommate's copy of the Necronomicon and like
Oh, okay.
change some shit to make it more atmospheric, but I don't actually expect anything to happen.
Okay. And how long are these like sessions usually?
Well, generally speaking, they're anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. Most people most people come in the daytime
Okay.
because they're sneaking around.
Yeah, it's lunchtime, so why not get fucked
It's
up the
lunch,
ass?
so,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And um, so that's when they visit, and that's when the magic happens.
Okay. It's pretty cool like working in the daytime and like a night like it's like I see I have a night scenario in my mind for all this.
Yeah, I mean, the dungeon is decorated to accommodate sort of, to capture that atmosphere. We don't have the curtains drawn wide and the sun beaming in.
Yeah.
It's like we've got vinyl window dressings, and it's pretty dark in
Okay. And like speaking of fashion and stuff like that, like what do you wear like what the dungeon has or do you incorporate like your personal taste into it?
there. Well, I like fetish wear. I don't wear it in public typically because I'm just not really an exhibitionist.
Yeah, I mean.
But I really like leather, and I have my own things. Like I've worked at 4 different dungeons now.
Oh, okay.
I've been doing this since 2007. So at some point you buy your own things. When I first started, I was like fresh off the turnip truck. So I
Yeah.
wore out what the headmistress at my first dungeon owned, and she had a lot of stuff. She'd been a dom then for like 12 years. So that was convenient because the stuff is expensive. But you get slaves over the years, and they buy you things,
Yeah.
or you buy them yourself sometimes if you really want it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I have a personal slave, and
Okay.
he doesn't come to the dungeon for sessions usually. But he'll just, if I want him to clean my house or buy me something or, you know, go to the store, whatever I feel like having him do, he just does it.
Okay. So it's not
And
sexual with him at all.
it's a sort of partnership. It's not like your typical boyfriend girlfriend partnership.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely a power imbalance where I am. He's like a pet.
Okay.
He's like a sentient, more. What's the word I'm looking for? He's like a smart pet.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and he
So
just
it's like
does.
a financial domination kind of thing, partnership.
Um, it is, but like he's young
Oh, okay.
and he's not like I don't treat him like, this disgusting piece of shit worm or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like we don't kiss and he doesn't socialize with me. He doesn't get invited to parties or shows
yeah. Okay.
unless I need him to do something. But he
Okay.
likes that. He enjoys
Yeah.
that. And it is sexual because that's what gets him off.
Okay.
It's
Um
very complex. It's hard to explain
yeah,
unless
yeah,
you
yeah.
have
I like in Israel I'm not in the BDSM scene here just because of the bad associations with all these fucking metalheads that are like stuck on Maiden and crap like that, you know?
okay.
It's like a really it's I was in that scene like 5 7 years ago, and I do not want to see those people again.
Hmm.
So I'm not very familiar with it here, but I can totally understand that. And like I go to this like douchebag college here in Israel. Like
Okay.
everybody there's like a fucking douchebag. Everybody there's like a parents paying for everything and all that. And I've like noticed like chicks wearing like leather studs.
Oh
Uh,
God, yeah, yeah.
like like what the fuck? I don't know.
You
Is
can
it?
thank Lady Gaga for that.
Oh,
Someone who was
okay.
dressing her obviously, caught on to the trend. But it's the same in Montreal.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like I'll think I see somebody I know, but it'll just be some like
Yeah.
plastic college girl who's just like completely decked out like a dominatrix. But like when you look closely at the outfit, it's all really just like
Yeah.
from a store in the mall, and
Like
she's
like
very
an
vanilla.
unknown pleasures like skirt or whatever, and it's like she doesn't even know who Joy Division are.
everyone
Yeah.
everyone talks about the Joy Division clothes, but I don't know because I'm English speaking mainly, and in Montreal
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's really easy to live in a bubble here, a social bubble. So like all of my friends know who Joy Division are, and wouldn't
Yeah.
be dead wearing a T-shirt of a band they don't know.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
But like here, it's kind of it really blew my mind when I first moved here from like Nova Scotia, just living somewhere with so many scenes, and meeting so many people whose lives just revolved around either playing music or consuming it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't really. I went back to university a few years ago, but I didn't. I can't say I saw a lot of like poser types. Or, you know, it
It
was
wasn't it
obviously
wasn't fashionable back then.
like well, it wasn't that long ago.
Oh, how long ago was this?
Well, I was like I finished my philosophy degree in 2009 or something. It's all been pretty much like
Okay.
same thing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I get what you're saying for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually had in one of my philosophy classes like um there was we were talking about altruism or something like that, and some he like the lecturer he asked for examples, so some girl like timidly said that like but some people like getting punished, and everybody, and it was like, yeah, okay, so that was quite funny, yeah.
I've had conversations like that too, where I have to really decide whether it's worth like disclosing my other identity in a
Yeah.
vanilla situation. In BDSM, we call the others vanilla.
Okay. Okay.
So anytime you hear like a kinky person be like, and it's not a diss, it's like
Yeah,
we we say in my vanilla life or in my vanilla wardrobe or my vanilla boyfriend, whatever,
okay.
like it's you've got to pick the right time because you don't know. I mean, even in a progressive place like Montreal,
Yeah.
you don't know if someone's going to judge you or even just stereotype you,
Yeah, yeah.
um, because it is still sex work. Like I'm not sucking and fucking, but it's sex work,
Yeah.
and sex workers are the people who are stigmatized pretty much the most. Like a woman who chooses to whore instead of like get a
Yeah.
noble profession like a nurse or a teacher. um, there's something wrong with her. Like people assume she's got to have like either a low IQ or reasons that she can't hold a regular job. And nobody would ever just do this by choice when they had other options,
Yeah. Yeah. And this is why I interview people like you.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate that. Actually, I'm glad you're an ally.
yeah. Yeah. Cool. And do you have like any other hobbies in your spare time when it's not music and working?
Honestly, I mean, I like to cook. I like to read. I like to write. But music and work take up a lot of time,
Yep.
you know, because of the nature of the scene too. It's not like I go to a symphony and have a flute of champagne during the intermission. Like
Yeah.
metal and punk, you rage, you go out, and all the bars are closed at 3:15
Oh,
in the
really?
morning.
Okay.
Yeah, and Montreal is also big on the after party.
Hmm.
So a show can be kind of like a commitment,
Yeah, yeah.
and it extends into the next day.
yeah, I get you.